Without further ado, Dr. Chad Costantino.
I want to thank you so much for allowing me to come to your school today. And I realize that I have very little time with you, so I want you to focus the best you can. Every 8 minutes, a teenager attempts suicide. Every 8 minutes. My doctorate is in counseling. I run a counseling center. Every day I have to deal with grief counseling because some parent has lost their child, or some child has lost their parent. The reason for this, it's not to be silly, it's not to scare you, it's just to open your eyes. Life is short. Life is short. Again, every 8 minutes, a teenager attempts suicide. Now there's a lot of you in here. And at some point in your life, maybe you've been at that place where you want to give up. You've lost hope. You don't think you have a purpose. But you do. You do. I want to share with you some things, and then I get to introduce you to a friend of mine who's here with me today, and we're going to tag team speaking to you. We're going to speak to you with everything we've got, with the little time that we have left. And I want to tell you, I spoke at a school earlier today, and it went great, it went fantastic. And there's something that I do, and I want you to know what it is so that you know where my head is at. Every single time I get the opportunity to hold a microphone in my hand or to stand before a group of warriors and be able to speak, I need you to know something. I imagine, what if this was the last time I ever spoke? What if this was my last day on this planet? So what I give you, I want to give you straight from my heart. I want to give you something that I know works. I want to give you something that will help you to succeed in life. Because there's so many naysayers out there. There's so many people that don't believe, but I believe. I get to see people succeed all the time. I get to coach people, because some of the people that come to me, it's for coaching. And to watch them to prosper and succeed at things that they want to do and accomplish. Whether it's being a writer, or whether it's being an actor, or whether it's being whatever it is their dream is. Something that I love to do is acting and drama. And we've made films, and we write books. And let me tell you something, I didn't say that to you to pridefully show off in any way. I say that to you because when I was in high school, I struggled with my grades. So for me to have a doctorate is a miracle. It's a miracle. But you can do it. You can do it. And I'm going to give you something to help you remember. Because your mascot here is hornets, correct? Well, let's do something with that. Let's do something with that. So what I'm going to do, and I'm really excited about what my friend Tony Collins is going to be saying to you. So I want you to focus the best you can right now, because actually focus is one of the most important keys to being able to succeed. That is one of the most important keys to being able to succeed. Matter of fact, people who make their dreams come true, it's not that they're any different than you, it's just they know how to focus. And if you learn how to focus and really, really focus on something, you can go after it and you can get it. But I want to take the word hornets, and I'm going to do an acrostic, so that hopefully every time you think of your mascot, you can remember this, or at least some of it. The letter H in the word hornet stands for this: honor the authorities above you, and they will respect you. Because honor equals favor. You just test that and watch what happens. I go into the courtrooms a lot. I have to go and stand before judges. I have to go and stand before political leaders. I stand before police chiefs and lawyers and everything. But I show them honor. And because I show them honor, they see past my long hair. This is how I dress to work. Now when I go to court, I won't deny it, I do dress up. But here's the thing, I show honor. You show honor to people and you watch how favor will follow you in life. The letter O in the word hornets stands for optimistic attitude leads to favor. Optimism. We have lost that. So many people are, I can't do this, or he can't do this, or I don't believe this. Please, I'm begging you. I'm begging you, especially when you're around little children. You want to make a difference on this planet? When you see a little kid, compliment them, encourage them, and watch what happens. So many people are drawn to the superheroes. You are a superhero. You compliment a little child and you'll watch them just glow. You give somebody a hug that's hurting and you watch what happens. But you being optimistic, you being optimistic can make more of a difference than you'll ever know. A lot of schools that I go to, I use my motorcycle and I'll bring it in. And I'll wear all my motorcycle stuff. And it's hilarious because sometimes I forget this, but if I go around town and one of the children, like at the elementary school, see me, they forget to tell their mom and daddy, hey, that's that nice man, that doctor man that came and spoke at our school. So they just leave their mom and daddy and they run up and hug me. And of course, the mom and dad are about to wet themselves because they're like, why is my child hugging that strange man? But it was because that strange man looked into their child's eyes and believed in him. And believed in him. One day I was speaking at elementary school and I felt led to stop the assembly and go walk straight up to a girl in the front row. She was a kindergartner. I put the microphone down and I spoke something into her ear. Then I picked the microphone back up and I went about my business. When it was over, a teacher come running up to me and she was crying. And she said, why did you pick that child? And I told her. And she said, so did you know that child? And I said, no, ma'am. She said, did you know what was going on in that child's life? And I said, no, ma'am. She said, of all the kids that you pointed out, you point to the one child that we know is being abused in her home. And I started crying because I did not know that. But I know that what I whispered in that child's ear forever changed that child. You have no idea the power you have within you by being optimistic. The letter R in the word hornets stands for relationships are the most important blessing in life. Healthy relationships equal connections, love, and favor. I do so much grief counseling, and the men that are dying, that I'm helping their families as they're dying of cancer, or men who've lost stuff, they don't look back and go, man, I wish I would have worked more hours. Man, I wish I would have bought more cars. Man, I wish I would have did this. I wish I would have wore more jewelry. No. They have regrets that they didn't love their wives enough, or they didn't spend more time with their children, or they didn't make a difference in people's lives. Relationships are connections that can get you from point A to point B to your dream. So you want to invest in others. What you make happen for someone else can come back and happen for you. It's that sowing and reaping. It works. The letter N in the word hornets stands for negotiate with a win-win mentality, and you will gain favor. What do I mean negotiate? You know, I listen to people all the time debate, but that's not negotiating. Matter of fact, let me just say this. If you try to debate before a judge, you will be thrown out of the court. You want to learn how to negotiate. Negotiating is something I do 7 days a week. You learned how to negotiate the day you were born. You started crying to get what you want. As you grew up, you negotiated in other ways. But what you'll find happen is the older you get, that stuff doesn't work no more. It doesn't work. So you want to learn how to negotiate in a way that's a win-win, that will benefit everyone around you. And if you're that kind of person, you will find favor. People want you to be their leader. People want you to be their leader. But you have to learn how to negotiate. Athletes, listen to me. Great warriors. Be that person on the team that is a great negotiator. Be that one and you will rise up as the captain, as the leader. You'll find favor everywhere you go. Negotiating where you win is not negotiating. Listen, if you have your way, all that can do is put vengeance in the eyes of the person across from you. You want to always go for that win-win mentality in everything that you do. But negotiate will lead to favor. Please focus on this next one. The letter E in the word hornets stands for every problem is a knowledge problem. Gain more knowledge, solve more problems. Solve more problems, and get favor. At the counseling center, people come in because they want solutions. Now listen, when stuff breaks in my house, my little girl one day said to me, I've got 4 children, love every one of them. They would die for them in a second. I could tell you stories and be sobbing, telling you how much I love my children. One day, my 10-year-old says to me, Daddy, why can't you fix the toilet? I thought you were a doctor. Daddy, why couldn't you fix the car? I thought you were a doctor. And I said, sweetheart, just because Daddy has a doctorate in counseling doesn't mean he has a doctorate in plumbing or being a mechanic. What's that got to do with this? Listen, you don't want to miss this. Knowledge, knowledge, knowledge. The more knowledge you have, the more problems you solve. The more problems you solve, the more favor you will get, because people will come to you. See, if my car breaks down, that's a crisis for me. But if I go to the mechanic, guess what? It's not a crisis for him. fix it. He's the doctor there. Well, what if the plumbing goes wrong at my house? That's a crisis for me. But I call the plumber. Guess what? It's not a crisis for him. He has the knowledge. I know school can be hard sometimes. I realize that. I went through it all. When I graduated high school, I did not graduate on a senior level. I didn't. I'm going to go ahead and tell you that. I didn't. I barely got through. My reading and writing was not good. That's why I say it's a miracle. And to get into college, I even had to go in on probation and had to have tutoring. But what happened was amazing. Because through the tutoring, I fell in love with knowledge and didn't want it to stop. I actually cried when I got my doctorate because I didn't want it to stop. Because knowledge helps you to solve other people's problems. And you solve a person's problems and it blesses you. I'm begging you, when you're in school, see it that way. See it that way. Some of you, you want to have jobs that pay good money. That's fine. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But I want you to also realize that solving people's problems can change a person's heart. The next one, I've got like 2 minutes of focus. The next letter is T for the word hornets. The T stands for the most important questions. Do you know? The T is the most important questions in the world. The most important questions in the world. What in the world are the most important questions in the world? Well, here's what they are. Where did you come from? Who are you? What are you worth? What is your purpose here on earth? And where are you going when you die? We are all going to see death at some point. I know that it's so easy to say, oh, I'm going to live a long, long time. And you know what? I hope you do. I speak life over you. But I deal with death constantly at the counseling center. I'm comforting parents all the time. Their child goes out with some friends and doesn't come home. I deal with it all the time. My friends who blessed us and let us use the casket, with Lynn Honeycutt Funeral Home, they're constantly having to bury children and teenagers. Don't take your life for granted. Don't you dare do it. I beg you. Know the 5 most important questions in the world. And the letter S, it stands for, in Hornets, the letter S stands for spiritual flow chart. Your spiritual core affects the way you think. The way you think affects the way you feel. The way you feel affects your actions and behaviors. And your actions and behaviors affect your relationships. And your relationships affect the outcome of your life. It is so important that you have a solid foundation in everything that you do. So the next time you see your mascot, the next time you think of hornets, I hope you remember one of those. I hope one of those speaks to you. And I hope that you live your dreams and not take life for granted. Live every single day like it's your last. And you'll be amazed what all you'll get done. You'll be absolutely amazed what you get done. It is my privilege to introduce you to a friend who is a great warrior athlete. I'm not going to say anything else because I want him to tell his story. But will you please help me welcome my friend, Tony Collins, right now. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. Y'all gonna get quiet on me now. Good afternoon, everybody. How y'all doing? Let's give Dr. Chad another hand, please. Absolutely, he was fantastic. Fantastic. What we're gonna do in the next, I got about 35 minutes. If we can get through this, and we're gonna have a Q&A afterwards, but I'm gonna tell my story, and what we're gonna talk about is choices, okay? Choices. The right choice or the wrong choice. See, your right choice could be a wrong choice for me. My right choice could be a wrong choice for you. But we want to make more right choices than we make wrong choices. I'm going to tell you my story. I grew up in this really small town in upstate New York. My family moved from Sanford, Florida, and they moved to this small town in upstate New York. Now you got to understand, I'm from a family of 16, and I'm number 15. And we went to this town, and the whole entire town was just white people. We were the only black family there. I don't know why we moved there, but I had no choice in the move, so I had to go. And so we get there, and as growing up as a kid, I was shy. The reason that I was shy is because I had a stuttering problem. The problem was the kid that I hung out with all the time, he stuttered worse than I did. Should have heard some of those conversations. It took us 5 minutes to say hello to each other. But I had this dream I had a goal at the age of 9 that I was going to play in the NFL. 9 years old. And let me share this with you. I truly believe that your words have power. Let me tell you what I did. I go to my mom. I'm 9 years old, about that high. And I said, Mom, I am going to play in the NFL. Just like that. Didn't say I wanted to play. I said I was going to play. Now you got to understand, nobody from this real small town has ever made it to the NFL. All my brothers tried. They didn't make it. But I was going to make it. Because my words have power. See, I didn't know what I was doing at the time. But I was speaking my future into the present. And you all have that same capability to speak your future into the present because your words have power. Believe that. Okay? The next thing I did is what we call the law of attraction. What you think about the most will come to you. And from the age of 9 all the way till I made it to the NFL, every single day, and I mean every single day, I thought about playing in the NFL. I was a fanatic. I slept with the football. I brought the football to the dinner table. Mom popped me upside the head a few times. I was a fanatic. And we had this long backyard. And we'd be out in the backyard. My brothers would be out in the backyard playing ball. My brothers would go inside, but I would stay outside all by myself, pretending that I was in the NFL. You should have seen it, man. It was pretty crazy. I was out there making moves on the air. I heard the crowd roar. I heard cheerleaders cheer. And at the age of 9, I was in the NFL in my mind. Albert Einstein says everything that we achieve or fail to achieve is a direct result of our thoughts. My question to you, what are you thinking about the most? What are you thinking about the most? Every single day I thought about playing in the NFL. And see, one of the things that I wanted to be the best football player that I could possibly be. And let me share this with you. In order to be the best at what you do, you cannot do what everybody else is doing. Let me say that one more time. In order to be the best at what you do, you cannot do what everybody else is doing. See, I wanted to be the best. I was the first one on the field. I was the last one on the field. I was the first one in the locker room. First one in the weight room. First and last one out of the weight room because I wanted to be the best. I would get the weight jacket. I would run up and down hills, run up and down stadium steps. My mom thought I was crazy, but I wanted to be the best. Where my athletes at? Raise your hand if you're an athlete. Fantastic. Put your hands down. Let me share something with you. This is just for the athletes now. This is just for the athletes now. Athletes, if you guys want to go to that next level, and play a college sport, let me share something with you. Now, actually, this is for everybody too. One of the biggest things that you can do for yourself in being the best at what you do. See, one of the biggest things that the athletes are missing right now is because they think because I run a 4.5 40 and I'm strong and I'm fast and I'm going to get a college education. The best thing that you can do for yourself is your GPA. That's the best thing you can do for yourself. Let me share this with you. See, when a college coach starts recruiting you, this for athletes now. When a college coach starts recruiting you, they already know how fast you are. They already know how strong you are. But what they need to know, the most important thing, can he or she be qualified? Now see, if you have a 2.0 grade point average, not a bad grade point average, not a good one either. You're working on a 2.5. If you have a 2.5, you're working on a 2.8. If you have a 2.8, you're working on a 3.0. If you have a 3.0, you're working on a 3.2. If you have a 3.2, you're working on a 3.5. If you have a 3.5, you're working on a 4.0. If you have a 4.0, you're working on a 4.2. Your grade point average cannot be high enough. How we judge your character is how high your grade point average is. For you non-athletes, how high your grade point average is going to let you get funding to go to school. Grade point average. Really, really important. And see now, I got to share this with you. Because I'm going to be honest with you. My GPA wasn't that good. I had a 2.5 all the way through high school. I didn't really care about school. I just want to play in the NFL. I just figured I kept that 2.5, just did just enough, I'll be fine. Didn't have good study habits. And so I get to East Carolina, that's where I went to school at, on a full scholarship, football scholarship. I went to East Carolina. My first day at East Carolina, I didn't have good study habits. And let me share this with you. Athletes or non-athletes, when you get to school, if you do not have good study habits right now, you will not have good study habits when you get to college. Just going to tell you the truth. Because let me share this. When you get to college, you're on your own. See, mom is not next door. Dad is not next door. And I realized that. I said, yeah, you know what? I can stay up as long as I want. I can watch TV all night long. I don't have to go to bed if I don't want to. I'm on my own. And I didn't have good study habits my freshman year in college. Had a great year on the football field. Got freshman of the year. Everything's fantastic. But see, when I came down to North Carolina, because I'm from upstate New York, I thought coming down to North Carolina, it was a warm state. You know, it doesn't get cold in North Carolina. You know, you see how smart I am, right? So I get down here, and November comes, and it gets cold. So when it got cold, my choice now, this is my choice. When it got cold, I didn't go to class. My choice. When it rained, I didn't go to class. My choice. When the wind was blowing real hard, I didn't go to class. Coach calls me in at the end of the year, says, Tony, we got a problem. It's like, what's the problem, Coach? Got freshman of the year, I'm doing great, everything's fantastic. Say, yeah, you're doing great on the football field, but the classroom is not that good. I didn't even know what my GPA was. Now listen, I'm going to tell you what my GPA is. This is between you and I. This cannot go out of this building, okay? Now, listen, when I tell you what my GPA is, you can laugh 2 to 5 seconds. That's as long as you can laugh, all right? Comes me into the room, sits me down and says, do you know what your GPA is? I'm like, no, Coach, I don't know what it is. He says, you have a, 2 to 5 seconds, a 0.7 grade point average. All right, 5 seconds is up. Now, that's enough. That's enough. A 0.7. I was flunking out of school. He says to me, he says, if you don't bring your GPA up, you can't play football no more. What? Can't let that happen. I got to make it to the NFL. So I made a choice. I made a choice to go to summer school. I made a choice to keep my grades up. I made a choice to keep a 3.0 all the way to my senior year. And I had a great career at East Carolina. And my senior year comes in. The pro scouts started to come around. The agents started to come around. And I could see my dream coming true. And I choose my agent. And the agent calls me up on the phone. He says, we need you to go down to Miami and get ready for the NFL Combine. NFL Combine, this is what I've been waiting for all my life. What time do we leave and how long we got to be there? That's what I'm thinking. He says, this is December now. He says, you got to be down there for about maybe 3 to 4 months. 3 to 4 months. I'm still in school. So now I got to make a choice. Whether to stay in school, get my degree. I only got 11 credits left. I was knocking 15 out a semester. Stay in school and get my degree on time, or go down to Miami and get ready for the NFL Combine. Stay in school, finish college, go down to Miami, get ready for the NFL. I'm looking at you, man. I'm asking you this question. I want you to give me the answer. Stay in school, finish my degree, or go down to Miami and get ready for the NFL Combine. Which one you think I did? What'd you say? You said I finished school? 0.7 grade point average. Now give me another answer. Give me another answer. I dropped out of school with 11 credits left. 11. Who said why I'm dropping? You must not be paying attention, girl. I dropped out of school, not realizing, not understanding, man, if I get hurt or injured real bad, I'm out of an education. and I'm out of football. It's all about making those right choices. So now I'm a dropout. But I still got a dream left. I still got that football dream left. And so I'm working hard, man. I'm working hard at the combine. I didn't get hurt. Nothing happened. And the draft comes around. It's April. The draft comes around, and I'm in my apartment watching the draft on my 12-inch black and white TV. Remember, just like it was yesterday. They had ESPN back then. This is 1981. And so I'm watching the draft. My agent says I'm probably get drafted probably in the 4th or the 5th round. It didn't matter to me just as long as I get drafted. So the first round comes in. I see some of the guys that I was with at the combine. Was happy for them. They get drafted in the first round, cheering them on and everything. I'm waiting for the 4th or the 5th round because that's when I'm gonna get drafted. Second round comes in, and the New England Patriots have a pick in the second round, and the camera goes to the New England Patriots table. And I'm watching. I'm thinking I'm going to get drafted right now because I'm waiting for the 4th, 5th round. And I see the guy at the New England Patriots table write my name down. Well, I didn't know it was my name, but he wrote down the name Anthony Collins. I was wondering, is there no Anthony Collins in this draft? And as soon as I said that, my phone rang. The New England Patriots drafted me in the second round in 1981. My dream has come true. Yeah. So now, I go up to New England, and New England drafted me. I was kind of fast. I ran a 4.40, and so they drafted me because they wanted me to return kicks. And I was the 3rd string running back on the team. I had never been 3rd string running back on nobody's team, and didn't plan on being 3rd string with the New England Patriots. They just didn't know it yet. And so I was working hard. First one on the field, last one off the field. First one in the weight room, last one out of the weight room. I was learning the playbook. I was getting it down. And I was believing that I was the #1 running back on that team. But I was the 3rd string running back on the team at the time. Choices. The first week goes through, and the 2nd string running back, his name was Horace Ivory from Oklahoma, good running back. He gets hurt. I felt a little bad for Horace. Felt real good for Tony. Because now I'm the #2 running back on the team. 3rd week comes in, everything's fine. 4th week comes in, Vegas Ferguson, our #1 running back, gets hurt. I felt a little bad for Vegas, but I felt real good for Tony. Because now I'm the #1 running back on the team. I get to start my very first game against the Baltimore Colts. They're Baltimore Colts back then. 18 carries for 89 yards, 4 catches for 39 yards, and my career is off and running. And I'm living the dream. Everything is fantastic. 2nd year comes in, everything goes well. 3rd year comes in, it's my breakout year. I rush for over 1,000 yards. I get selected to go to the Pro Bowl. For those of you who don't know what the Pro Bowl is, it's the best of the best. I have become the best running back that year. That's what I've been waiting for, because I'm working hard to be the best. Okay? And I became the best running back. Matter of fact, I still hold a record at New England that's still standing today. I rushed for 23 carries for 212 yards and 3 touchdowns. And as long as Tom Brady is there, that record's gonna probably go on a little bit longer. 4th year comes in. 4th year comes in. I get cracked ribs at the beginning of the year. Cracked ribs. Now, you gotta understand something. I was not gonna let what happened to Vegas Ferguson and Horace Ivory, that wasn't gonna happen to me. Can't get hurt. I can't get hurt. I can't let a rookie or anybody come and take my spot. So I make a choice to start taking painkillers. My choice. I would get shots in the side before the game. I would get shots at halftime just to stay on the field because I don't want nobody to take my job. My choice. My choice. I was taking so many painkillers that year, it was tearing up my stomach. One of my teammates said, "Man, if you smoke a little marijuana, it'll take the nauseousness away from you." Never smoked marijuana before, but I know I had to keep taking those painkillers in order to stay on the field. So I made a choice. to smoke marijuana for the very first time. And sure enough, it took the nauseousness away. And now for that whole year, I would pop pills and I would smoke a little marijuana. My choice, nobody forced me. My choice. Pop pills, smoke a little marijuana. And then I started hanging around people that I shouldn't have been hanging around. Let me share something with you guys. My father used to tell us, you know, he used to tell me this when I was around 9 years old. He used to tell me, he said, son, one of the keys of being successful is surrounding yourself with successful people. Now I'm 9 years old. I'm thinking, you know, how successful can my 9-year-old friend be, right? That's what I'm thinking. But what he was teaching me and telling me, it's so important that you surround yourself with good people. He would always also say, don't be the smartest person in the room. Let me say it again. Don't be the smartest person in the room. If you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. You got to hang around with people that are smarter than you, that will encourage you, that will get you from one point to another point. You know, because see, and I ain't saying nobody dumb in here, but if you dumb and you the smartest person in the room, you got a room with a whole bunch of dumb people. What you got? Okay? But ain't nobody dumb. And so I just want to share this with you. Surround yourself, especially you athletes, surround yourself with other athletes that are trying to do the same thing that you're trying to do. Surround yourself, students, with other students that study hard, that work hard. Surround yourself with them. Okay? And so I wasn't surrounding myself with those type of people. I was surrounding myself with people that smoke marijuana. I was surrounding myself with people that stayed out in the nightclubs. And I started staying out in the nightclubs. My choice. Nobody forced me. My choice. The problem is I got caught twice. Tested positive twice. The New England Patriots released me. One of the saddest days of my life because of the choices that I was making. Got me fired. The very next day, the Indianapolis coach, they picked me up. Very next day, they picked me up. They want me to play on their team. So now, I got one more strike left. Just one more strike left. And if I get caught being tested positive again, I'm going to get suspended for the whole entire year. Can't let that happen. No problem. I'm getting tested every single day. Not a problem. I know I'm getting tested. All the other ones I got caught on because, you know, I would try to cheat the system and they would catch it. But now I know I'm getting tested every single day. So I get to Indianapolis camp. Everything's going great. I was in the backfield with Eric Dickinson. Man, I thought we were going to have a good year. First week of camp goes in and I'm killing them, man. I'm tearing them up. Second week comes in, getting tested every day. Everything's fine. Not a problem. I'm not going to let nothing happen. I make a choice to go to a party. My choice, just a little party. You know, I'm just going to a party. I know there was going to probably be some marijuana smoking at the party, some other things going on at the party. I'm not going to do anything. I got to take a drug test the very next day. Can't let nothing happen. So I get to the party, everything's fine. Sure enough, they were smoking marijuana, doing other things. Not me. Got to take a drug test. I'm not going to let this in my career for a whole entire year. Can't let that happen. Get back to the dorm room, everything's fine. Wake up the next morning, have another great practice. The very next day, Ron Myers, the head coach there, calls me into his office, thinking he's going to tell me how good I'm doing at camp. He says, Tony, you have been tested positive again for marijuana. You are suspended for a whole entire year. I was like, what? I didn't do it this time. But who's going to believe me? I didn't know nothing about secondhand smoke. I made a choice to go to a party, and I get suspended for a whole entire year. And now I feel like a failure. Get suspended for a whole entire year. I do everything they tell me to do. I come back. I get reinstated. I play my last year with the Miami Dolphins, and I retire. But I felt like a failure. because of the choices that I made, the things that I was doing. For 18 years, after I retired, for 18 years, this positive person is now this negative person. So you have a choice to whether to be positive or to be negative. I chose to be negative for 18 years, just existing through life, just whatever. You know, I had a son. I still got a son. And he was getting ready to go off to college, and I was really living through my son, just making sure he doesn't make the mistakes that I made. Just existing through life. And I get this job, and I thought I was going to be working with some athletes or with some individuals that were going to try to go on to the next level. And I get to this job. This is the very first day on the job now. I get to the job, and I'm on the phone all morning talking to the parents of the athletes. Not talking to the athletes, just talking to the parents, answering questions. I don't want to do this. It's my first day on the job. So I make a choice, a decision. When lunchtime comes, I'm going to McDonald's, and I'm not coming back. That's decisions that I made. So I get to McDonald's, go through the drive-thru. I order number one, Big Mac, order fries, and a high C drink. Same thing. That's the same number one. y'all know that number one now. And so when the lady gave me my high C drink, something on the inside said, you need to go back to that job. I don't want to go back to that job. I get the high C drink, take a sip of the high C drink, got that small voice on the inside said, you need to go back to that job. I go back to the job. I'm on the phone. I don't want to be on the phone. The co-worker that was right next to me, he didn't want to be there either. He left. His phone was ringing. I didn't even want to answer my phone. But I made a choice to answer his phone. The best choice I have made in my whole entire life. Because on the other end of that phone was this lady from San Antonio, Texas. I'm living in Miami at the time. And she gets on the phone and she says, my son's name is Terrence Terrell. You know, I'm still football minded. I said, does he play football? He says, yeah, my son plays football. So she starts bragging on her son. You know, I got a son too. Good football player, get ready to go off to the University of Pittsburgh. So I start bragging on my son. You know, we're going back and forth, bragging on each other's son. And so, you know, like the gentleman I am and the gentleman I was, I said, look, take my cell phone number and call me later. Yeah, I was flirting a little bit, you know. And she called me. She called me. And we talked, and we talked, and we talked, and we talked. And she would always send me emails of T.D. Jakes and Joel Osteen, everything positive. Every single day, just a bunch of positive emails. And she changed my way of thinking. For 18 years, I thought negative. It took one person to change my way of thinking. And this is why I do what I do. If I can change one student to start thinking right, because see, just like Dr. Chad said, it starts here first. It starts here first. What are you thinking about the most? What are you thinking about the most? And let me share this with you. We got a little time. Let me share this with you. And let me share this with you. Athletes, students, girls and boys, listen to this, man, because if you don't get nothing out of this, get this one right here. Get this one. My father comes to me when I'm around 11 years old. And he says to me, he says, son, do you really want to be successful? What? Of course, Dad, I want to be successful. Going to the NFL, man. He says, do you really want to be successful? And I said, yeah, I want to be successful. My dad was about 5'11", maybe 6 feet. And he kind of stood over me. I was sitting down in the chair. What's your name, son? Eric? Father stood over me like this. Points at me. Hold on. Because y'all got to get this now. You got to get this. Oh, y'all can't see back there, really. I got to pick somebody else so everybody can see. I'm sorry, Eric. You all right with that? What's your name, man? Marcus? Can y'all see me now? All right, fantastic. Listen, this is what my dad did. My dad about 5'11", maybe 6 feet, but he weighed about 250. And I'm 11 years old. He looked like a giant to me. He points at me like this. He said, Marcus, right? He points at me like this. You're going to be Tony right now, okay? You can beat Tony, okay? All right? He points at me like this. He says, boy, do you really want to be successful? I say, yes, sir. That's what I said. I said, yes, sir. See, back then when we were coming up, it was yes, sir, no, sir, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, or you get popped upside the head, all right? So he points at me. He says, boy, do you really want to be successful? I say, yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's what I said. He says, this is what he says. All you have to do is one thing, and it guarantees you success. I'm all ears. I'm waiting for him to tell me this one phenomenal thing that's going to guarantee me success. He says, obey your mother and father. And he walks out of the room. I was like, where you going? How does obeying my mom and dad guarantee me success? Couldn't figure it out. Didn't understand. You get it, Marcus? Marcus got it. I didn't get it. I didn't get it. Listen to me. Please listen to me. My only guarantee to you, if you obey your mother and father or your legal guardian, it could be your uncle, your auntie, whoever it is, your grandma, whoever's your legal guardian, as long as they're telling you to do the right thing, obey them and it guarantees you success. Will you go through some stuff in life? Of course you will. That's the great thing about life, going through stuff. But in the end, you will be successful. My only guarantee to you. Let me share this with you guys. Your words have power. My senior year in high school, I told you before, nobody from my high school has ever played in the NFL before. All my brothers tried, none of them made it. My high school, my town, is a whole lot smaller than this town. A lot smaller. I think our graduating class was maybe 89 people or something. Real small. And so, I'm sitting on the bench, night before a game, and there was another guy on my team, which was a pretty good football player. His name was Chris Christie. And I'm sitting on the bench. Let me show you how powerful your words can be. I'm sitting on the bench, and I look over to Chris. I said, man, wouldn't it be cool if both of us made it to the NFL? I knew I was going to make it. I was just hoping Chris would make it too, right? I can't remember what Chris said. Chris goes off to Princeton. I go to East Carolina. 4 years later, I get drafted in the second round by the New England Patriots. Chris gets drafted in the 12th round by the New England Patriots. Coincidence? No. Your words have power. Don't let another negative word come out of your mouth. Now, you're going to get those negative thoughts, but when they come, replace them with positive ones. I dare you to try it. I dare you to try it and see what happens with you. See how far you can go by just speaking positive. But in order to speak positive, you got to think positive first. It all starts here. It all starts here. And see, after I met that lady from San Antonio, Texas, I started making good choices. I started making real good choices. See, y'all remember I dropped out of school, right? Remember I dropped out of school? I made a choice at the age of 52 to go back to East Carolina and get my education. And I graduated at the age of 52. Y'all clap for me because it was real hard. It's all about making choices. It's all about making choices. That lady that I met over the phone, she's my wife now. It's all about making choices. It's all about making choices. The ball's in your court. Hold on, listen real quick. The ball's in your court. It's in your court right now. You're gonna get some choices that you're gonna have to make in life. And some of the choices, just like Dr. Chad was talking about, may lead you down the road that you want to go down. You don't want to go down. And I'm just letting you know, man, by you making right choices, it's going to give you more opportunities. The more opportunities you have, the better off you're going to be. And one last thing, and I'm going to share this with you. One last thing.